Well, I taught the whole lesson only to discover that halfway through the video kind of stopped working, and so I have 3 more to show you or look over with you, and now the sun has kind of shifted here, but I am determined to get 6.7 done today. So we left off, the video cut out unexpectedly on example 2, but I believe you understood, hopefully you understood, that x could not be negative, and so x equals 36 hours was where the video paused, and so then Bob was x plus 9, and Sally was just x, and so Sally takes 36 hours, while Bob takes 36 plus 9, or 45 hours. And so I'm gonna check the video, make sure I'm up and rolling here. You guys try example 3. I apologize it doesn't say try. You guys try example 3, pause the video, fast forward me checking here. I have no idea why that would have stopped working. So here we go on example 3. Example 3, take 2. All right, so we've got printer A and printer B, and you need to ask yourself which one is faster. So as I read through this, it does appear that printer B is a little bit quicker because it takes printer A 15 minutes longer. So 1 over the first thing plus 1 over the second equals 1 over together is our strategy. Go ahead and put parentheses around here, and let's multiply through by that LCM. So we need a 10, an x, and an x plus 15. A 10, an x, and an x plus 15. A 10, an x, and an x plus 15. Let's cross out our common factors, and then we can write what's left. Cross out our common factors, we can write what's left. And then here the 10s cross out, and you can go ahead and distribute right there on that step if you'd like, if you don't like to write one more thing and are always looking for that shortcut, or you can distribute. And then just like we did in the first example, we're going to get everything off to the right so that that x squared stays positive. So I'm going to move the 20 over. I'm going to move the 150 over. And I end up with 0 equaling x squared minus 5x from the positive 15 and the negative 20 minus 150. And now I need to factor. So you can kind of list your factors of 150. Maybe you see it right away, but maybe you don't. Does 6 go into it? 6 and 25. And I'm sure there are others that perhaps I missed, but 10 and 15 are the ones we want. So a positive 10 and a negative 15 will add up to that minus 5. So x plus 10 and x minus 15 equals 0. Based on the one I did, you know it's going to change the signs there. So this is going to give you a negative 10 for an answer. You're going to throw that out. This is going to give you x equals positive 15. So we go ahead and we keep that. And then let's go back over here. That's why it's nice to have this nice and neat. If x is 15, Printer B takes 15 minutes. Printer A takes 15 plus an extra 15. And so we're good. And those are our two answers to the question. All right, sorry to be annoying. I don't want to go through more and then discover this has happened again. Yeah, I'm still good. So we have one more type that we're going to look at. And this goes back to something called proportional problems. You might remember these from your K-12 days. I say K-12 because different schools, different places, different times. It seems like they're always learning more math at an earlier age, but no kindergartner is doing these problems, right? And this is one of those things that I think we learn over and over and over again. And so a proportional problem, it's kind of like if I don't know that I can write one word and say something else. Like if 2 cups of sugar makes 30 cookies, how many cups of sugar does it take to make 80 cookies? And you set up your little fractions. So in our first example, it looks like we're talking about text messages and days. So I am looking at example, oh sorry, no, that's your try. I am looking at example 4, pardon me. Since I've printed this, I switched the order from your perspective. So my example is the trout in the river. So it looks like we have caught and marked 1,190 trout. Later, I captured 915 trout, 24 of which were marked. So here's what we're going to do. We have marked over the total. And in the first case, it's the total in the group. And then marked over total in the river. And so I did the harder of the 2 questions so that you could kind of see, but I find this question really fascinating. This is how they actually count animals. And so I am going to do the second sentence first, and you'll see why in just a second. All right, we capture 915 trout. 24 of them are marked. So 24 out of the 915 are marked. Originally, I marked 1,190. So how many would be in the river total? So the group kind of changes from like a finite group to, well, this is finite too, but the entire river. And this is what they do when they go ahead and count animals. So we have fraction equals fraction. Think about what we learned in 6.6. When that happens, we are going to cross multiply. So I am going to multiply 24 times x, and then I am going to multiply 915 times 1,190. And you get a really, really large number there. I need to grab my phone so I can put that in. And I walked away with it when I noticed that my video stopped recording. So 915 times 1190 is 1,000,000. Don't really worry about how big this number is initially, because we're going to divide it in our next step. So then we're going to take that and divide by 24. Divide by 24. And we get that there are about, I'm going to round this up, 45,369 trout in our river. Because you can't have 0.75 trout. Okay, you guys try example 5 with the text messages and the number of days. Just make sure you stay consistent. It doesn't matter which piece you put on top as long as you do it the same on both sides. So I'm gonna do this one with text messages on the top and days on the bottom. Again, it's just a matter of picking. There's no right or wrong. So if I send 384 texts in 8 days, how many texts would I send, or would Juan send or receive in 30 days? So when I go to cross multiply, I'm gonna have 8 times x, and then I've got my calculator here because I'm gonna go 384 times 30 is 11,520, divide by 8, divide by 8, and the answer is 1,440 texts. So we might send and receive a lot more than when I originally copied this problem out of the book, but it is the process that is important, not the number of text messages. So hope you were successful on the proportion problems. The boat in the river and some of the other types with the speeds, we're not going to do, so if you see them in the book, you don't need to worry about those popping up on the test. I won't choose those. And the good news is that this is the end of chapter 6. So far we've done chapter 4, chapter 5, and chapter 6. So we only have 7, 10, and 11. So congratulations, you've made it to our halfway point. And not every student makes it this far, so you should pat yourself on the back and reach out to me as always with your questions, and take care, be safe, and have a great rest of your day.